All right, not the greatest start to a series after the epic collapse in Colorado, after the fiery, impassioned speech by Mike Shildt to the media last night. The team didn't get the memo. Joe Musgrove, we have to have a conversation about Joe. I know it's not May yet. I said I'd wait till the end of April, but he's got a 7 ERA through 7 starts, career high 4 home runs allowed. The offense never came to life. Graham Pauley in a 9-1 game did hit a home run for the Padres, but they lose to the Phillies 9-3. Felt like they were outclassed tonight. Aaron Nola was unbelievably effective. The offense coming to life for the Phillies, and the Padres dropping game 1 of a 3-game series down at Petco on a cool, rainy night in downtown San Diego. So get in. There's a lot to react to. John and Jim, make your way in, as I like to say. Subscribe. We have year-round content for you, in season, out of season. So make sure to subscribe. Year-round content, trying to get to 6,100 subscribers. We need your help. Smash the like button for us. We need some likes despite tonight's result. Follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. As you know, we get to super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. Great way to support our work. And if you want to become a member, we don't yet have the custom ouchie emoji or boom check emoji, but we're working on that. You can click the join button down below. But the Padres fall under 500. They are 14-15. It's consecutive losses. Is the sky falling, Jim, after tonight's series opening loss to the Phillies?
No, it's not. This guy's not falling. It's not. This guy's not falling. But I just don't. I don't like what has happened the last couple of days. I'll just say that. With yesterday, having blown that lead, and then today looking. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just chalked up to Aaron Nola being a really good pitcher, right? Like maybe that's the reason why they look the way they look tonight. But for whatever reason, you go out there and Joe, who we'll have a discussion about, gives up those 2 runs in the first inning, and then Aaron Nola goes out, gets out of the first, bottom of the first and 7 pitches. After your manager the other day said that you're a bunch of winning gamers, just again, what Shildt says post-game and what he said yesterday, it only looks good and sounds good if they come out this series and they put together some good baseball and they win. But when you come out and look flat yesterday from Shildt just looks like a bunch of eyewash. And you're not in a position where, you give up a game yesterday versus a team that sucks. You need to win. You're up by, 5 runs there? You're up by 5 runs.
Yeah.
Was it 9-4? Yeah. You're up by 5 runs. You got to win that game. You come home 2 games over 500. You lose tonight. Okay, you say the Phillies are hot, which they are. It's a fact. But you dropped yesterday. You lose tonight. You're back under 500. You're not a good baseball team. And it just, like you're going into a really tough stretch here. And it just magnifies yesterday even more. It magnifies what Shildt said post-game even more. And I just think you can only go so long with maybe trying to cover up some things with words because the actions are going to prove that maybe this team's not good.
I don't know if this team's not good or not. I have no idea.
I don't know
I
either.
don't know if this team is good. I don't think one game is anything to judge a team on. To your point, I mean, Aaron Nola has been as good as anyone his last 5 starts. He had a 1.6 in his last 4 coming in. Today, his night was better than his line, which is 8 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs. I mean, Paulie hit a home run. He'd allowed 1 run to that point in like 7 1/3 or 7 2/3 innings. I mean, Aaron Nola has been elite. Their bullpen has not, but they haven't needed their bullpen because their starting pitching has been so good. And this lineup, which at times has looked very good, at other times, there's a lot of conversations we could have tonight. I mean, I'll bring up the fact that Fernando Tatis Jr. has a sub 800 OPS right now.
Yep.
And we were expecting this big bounce back. And it's not like it's been the most disappointing start to the year, but it hasn't been the bounce back we were hoping for. Jake Cronenworth is back mired into being, fine, but nothing spectacular. It was nice to have Manny in the field. There's no question about that. You just look at this thing and it leaves something to be desired. Bogey 0 for 4 tonight. He had been better over the last couple of games. He had his OPS over 600. It's back under 600. So it's not just Joe. And it's not to say Joe's going to have a 6.94 all year, but the truth, we had Tom McCarthy from the Phillies on. He's looking at advanced analytics. His velocity's down. His fastball velocity is way down. He's not throwing his fastball as often. Phillies have a very good lineup, but 3 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs, and a career high 4 home runs. You have to wonder what's going on with Joe Musgrove. Is he fully healthy? And this is something that's plagued him since the start of spring training. The first time he was on the mound, he led like 8 runs in a third of an inning to the Dodgers, and he hasn't really gotten particularly better. So is it going to be turned around, and how? Like, what's the formula here for Joe Musgrove? Velocity down. Is he healthy? He's been ineffective basically all season long. He's had some 6-inning outings. I get it, but he's got a 6.94 ERA in 7 starts.
I've said that I trust Joe. I've said it. I'll still stand by it until proven otherwise.
Till next start.
Till next. But we talked about it in spring, and I had the theory of he is changing things up because he is not comfortable with where his shoulder's at. With his breaking pitches, and you see the velocity down on his fastball. And I don't know if that's the case. Probably not. But at the same time, the numbers are the numbers, and he's been awful, albeit a couple starts. He's been awful. They need him. We continue to say it. This team needs their stars to perform. Bogarts has looked awful this year. Tatis, I thought was going to be back to Tatis. He has 6 home runs on the year, but his OPS is about to dip under 800.
Well, it has dipped under 800.
Actually. Oh, it has already? Okay. Yeah. Manny's been fine. Okay, but he needs to be better, plain and simple. Your 3 biggest stars in your lineup have all been blah. Joe Musgrove, making $20 million a year. He's been horrible for you. Yu Darvish is on the IL. There's a reason why they're 14 and 15.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's almost impressive they are 14 and 15.
True, yeah.
I mean, and again, if not for a couple of really good comebacks, now they've had some bad losses, like yesterday. I mean, yesterday was a really bad loss. You can't lose that game. I didn't expect a carryover effect, and I don't know if this is a carryover effect or if the Phillies are just better than the Padres, which is possible. The Phillies are 9-2 in their last 11. Their starting pitching ERA in their last 11 games is sub-1. So you heard me right. The starting pitching ERA for the Phillies in their last 11 games, where they're 9-2, is sub-1. It doesn't get easier. Ranger Suarez is the same thing as Aaron Nola. He throws a million different pitches. He keeps you off balance. That's what Nola does. He threw 5 pitches 10% of the time or more here today, and he had the Padres gassing. And if not for, again, this thing was ugly. It was uglier before Grant Pauly. There were 2 bright spots, and I'm not in the moral victory business, but who cares? It was Jeremiah Estrada getting recalled and pitching effectively in relief in a game that was over. It was Grant Pauly, who hasn't hit all year, hitting a home run. I'm not opposed to seeing Pauly get more opportunities as DH. I think we'll see that right now. And certainly Jeremiah Estrada is going to play a role for this team. But that's cute and all, but you lost 9-3. This was always my problem with, but Jackson Merrill's hitting 300. This is a win-loss business. So I'm all for Estrada getting opportunities, or Grant Pauly or Jackson Merrill or Eggy Rosario or Tyler Wade, but you got too many players basically breaking into the big leagues that you're coupling with this veteran core that's making a ton of money, that you're trying to put it all together. We said that in the offseason. It's a weird combination of veteran players with a young group, and you're trying to win at a high level. And right now they haven't. They've been a 500 team.
And when you put the young guys with the veterans, and the young guys are seemingly outperforming the veterans in some sense, then that's a problem. The Musgrove thing is the biggest thing to come out of tonight. But if you look at the rest of this series and you look up on Monday and Tatis is again doing nothing for you, coupled with Bogarts doing nothing for you, and Manny kind of just getting a base hit here and there, might have a home run here. Like, the bottom line is, if this team expects to do anything, like look at the Phillies tonight. All of their stars performed. Nola pitched great. Harper had a home run. Schwarber had a home run. And by the way, their lineup is so freaking deep. Truthfully, there is not one person on the Padres that I would take over anybody in the Phillies lineup.
No, what are you talking? One person on the Padres that you wouldn't take?
In
There's
this-
not one person on the Padres?
In this lineup right now, like tonight.
You wouldn't take Manny Machado or Fernando Tatis Jr. over Bryson Stott?
I would take their entire lineup right now. The way that
You
they're
would take
performing.
Manny Machado. You would take Bryson Stott over Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. You have serious problems.
Okay, probably.
That's crazy talk, man. Now
probably.
you're getting crazy. Rojas, who has done nothing ever,
All right,
you're taking over Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. That's utter ridiculousness.
I mean, Alex Bohm right now is hitting 347 with a 999 OPS.
What about the guys I just told you were hitting 200 with 500 OPSs?
Trey Turner. I would take Schwarber over the DH. I would take Turner.
And Castellanos, who's got his 400 OPS.
I would take Harper. I would take Bohm. I would take.
You just walk it back.
I would take Marsh.
That's stupid.
Castellanos, you're right. Stott, okay. Rojas, yeah. So three guys. Three guys right now.
Actually underperformed. They've been all pitching. They haven't nearly scratched the surface of their offense. That's the amazing thing about it. Schwarber's been awful.
I would still take Schwarber. Has 7 home runs. He would a 723 OPS. He would be probably one of the best hitters on the Padres.
Dude, he's got a lower OPS though than 6 guys on the Padres.
I would take Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bohm, Real Muto, and Marsh.
Yeah, but that's not everyone.
Right now, how they're playing.
Take Brandon Marsh over. So you're going to do Brandon Marsh for Manny Machado or Fernando Tatis Jr.?
John, I'm talking about positions, dude.
What are you talking about?
Okay. The DH for the Padres. Who's the DH for the Padres tonight?
Oh, you said any player.
I meant position by position.
You're going to go position by position.
DH, Phillies. Shortstop, Phillies. First baseman, Phillies. Third base, Phillies. Real Muto, catcher, Phillies. Marsh, Phillies. Do you want to go right field, Tatis over Castellanos? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Bryson Stott over right. Xander Bogaerts right now. It's kind of a push. Rojas.
Well, I'm taking Miguel Rojas over Jackson Merrill right now.
You take Jackson Merrill over Rojas, absolutely.
Yeah, and you're also not taking the Castellanos over Fernando Tatis Jr.
I'm position by position. Okay,
right. You just
this Phillies lineup
right?
is light years better than the Padres.
Yeah, I mean, that's a different conversation. That's fine. I mean, also the Phillies are 17-10 and the Padres are under 500, so nobody's going to argue that.
But that's
I would actually argue they've underperformed.
As players, yeah, Machado's a better player than Alec Bohm for sure. Okay, Tatis, but like they're not playing like it right now. I'll tell you that.
No, I mean there's no question who's been better, obviously from a team perspective. But again, this is, I'm not going to judge everything based on tonight, and you're certainly not taking Alec Bohm over Manny Machado in the long run.
But I'm not talking about the long run. I said right now, Alec Bohm has played a million times better than Manny Machado has this year. And you can't tell me I'm wrong.
Fair, but it's also only been 29 games. It's not to say Manny Machado is not capable of having a better season than Alec Bohm.
For sure. Career-wise, not even close career-wise.
No, not career-wise. I'm saying season-wise. I mean, I think if we fast forward a couple of months, I wouldn't be surprised if Machado's numbers are comparable to Alec Bohm's, if not better.
Maybe. But right now, the Phillies star players and their lineup, they are performing. The Padres are not even, they're not. Their star players are all in funks and slumps, and the depth of this team is showing.
Fair and unfair. I mean, they scored 9 runs yesterday, not because of their stars, but they didn't lose the game because their depth was showing yesterday. And I don't really think they lost the game today because their depth was showing either.
And it's not like saying I'd take Profar over Judge because Profar's had a better season than Aaron Judge.
That's the thing. That's kind of the collective point.
Schwarber, okay, while he's hitting 198, he's going to hit 45 home runs this year.
But that's who he is. I agreed. Yes.
And I'm not walking it back. I stand by it. I would take majority of the Phillies.
You stand by taking Rojas, and you stand by taking whomever else. Stott. Stand by it.
I mean, hey, Enzo, you guys all love Manny Machado, but guess what? He's not performing. You all love Fernando Tatis Jr. Guess what? He's not performing. Xander Bogaerts not performing.
Yeah, but it's a little early to go like that, sweeping like this is who I take over these people, because you know that stuff can play out over the period of time. I mean, this isn't the end all be all where they are on April 27th.
I'm not going to walk it back. I stand by it. Padres need to show me that they can actually fucking win games and be a good baseball team. They're not.
Enzo, thank you for the super chat. It says, is this team quitting 29 games in, or are they just not very good? What happened to Toddy? Nobody's quitting on anything. I mean, I didn't think they looked good late in this game. And I don't really think they looked good in this game in general. But like you said earlier, Jim, some of that's because of Aaron Nola, probably.
Yeah.
This is about two people tonight. Two people. The people that held the baseball, Aaron Nola and Joe Musgrove. That's what you watched tonight. You saw a dominant starting pitcher against an ineffective starting pitcher. That's what happened. Now, there's no easy answer there. I don't know if Joe Musgrove's going to turn it around. Listen, you want to do the Nola Musgrove who you're taking game. That's inarguable. But that's a completely different conversation. And by the way, Ranger Suarez offers the same problems for the Padres potentially tomorrow. And it's not just to say every time you face good starting pitching, well, whatever. And they've had some success against good starting pitching this year. But it's not about the team quitting. And I agree with the general idea that the Phillies are going to be better than the Padres in all likelihood this year.
Probably. I mean, they're a team that could win 95 plus games. I mean, like you said, Suarez tomorrow has been maybe you could argue better than Nola tonight. And he's a lefty. And we all know how this Padres team faces, Grant Pauly. It's going to be I don't even know if he's going to be allowed tomorrow. Probably not, because you're going to have Eggy in the lineup. You're probably not going to see Jackson Merrill. Probably going to give him another day.
Is that what they said today?
I don't know about that. I'm just saying you want to put him back in there, and it's one of the more toughest lefty in the game right now,
right?
Or one of the toughest lefties in the game right now.
Matchup than maybe health.
I mean, if they sat him versus Kyle Harrison, then why would you not sit him against Suarez?
I think they've changed the sitting. I mean, now that he's hit, I think he's basically an everyday. I don't think they platoon him, right? Are they sitting him against left-handers since Harrison?
I don't think so.
But it'll be interesting to see if he is in the lineup. I agree with that. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he's in the lineup.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. It did come down to two guys tonight that held the ball the most, Nola and Musgrove. And Musgrove has been a big disappointment so far this season. I still trust him if he's out there, but it is concerning to see some of these advanced numbers with Joe this year. And again, the offense didn't do anything. And you went up against a team that 1 through 9 feels like at any moment could hit a 3-run homer.
Oh, I agree with that. Well, I would say this. I don't trust Joe Musgrove, but I'm willing to trust him again. But he's got to show it to me. But based on what I've seen for 7 starts, I said, let's have the conversation at the end of April. Here we are. His next start's in May 1st, against the Reds. He's going to have to give me a reason to trust him based on the way he's pitched so far this year. And it's not for anything other than it's results-based. And so far, the results have been off. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure there's an actual reason as to his lack of success, his velocity being down. I just don't know if it can be rectified and if it's going to be switched or fixed in 5 days. I just don't know. Steve, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
He says the offense is mid and Joe and you are cooked. I don't know about you. I think Yu's actually going to be back potentially the next handful of days. But and I don't think Joe's cooked. I'm just saying that these are guys, remember we said at the start of the year, like question marks, and guys have things to prove. Darvish coming off injury, Musgrove coming off injury. That remains still the case. Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish have a lot to prove based on what we've seen so far and based on where they left off in 2023. I don't think they're cooked, but they have a lot to prove, I would say.
It's not great when we're sitting here almost a month in. Well, I would say they're a month in because they played us 2 games in Korea.
Yep.
A month in, and the biggest players, most important players on this team are all not really performing. Like, that's a problem. It is. Could they all turn it around? Absolutely, they could. Manny's going to get hot at some point. I've said that, right? Toddy, we'll see. All right. Bogey, we'll see. Joe, they're healthy. You expect them to turn it around, but you got to have it for a majority of the season where they're performing, because if you go the first 4 months and it's just all like mid, they're not going to be in it, guys. That's not going to happen. We're going to look up in August and they're going to be 7 games out, 8 games out, and they're going to have a huge hill to climb. if these guys don't start performing and playing up to what they're being paid to play, like these are all the biggest, highest paid players on the team. Okay. And it's not fair to the, you know, Profars and the Merills to like be carrying the load, which is what they're doing right now. They need to have their stars be the stars. That's what they're banking on. That's what their whole entire offseason strategy was we're not going to really do any moves. One, because I don't think we can, but two, because we believe in the stars. And if the stars perform, we believe that we can win. And that's what they got to do. And if they're not going to do it, that's a problem and they're in trouble.
I'm not sure if, and I agree with you, the one star that has performed is Dylan Cease, who is an absolute star and finished second at Cy Young voting, and they've acquired him. He's lived up to billing, but he's a star. JD's third thank you says, why didn't I'll say Shildt, do postgame? He may have. He didn't on Padres.tv. Where the gamer's running through walls for him, Mr. Magoo's shticks is getting old. Actions over words. Man, he's a wordsmith, isn't he? Mike Shildt. I don't know if there was did we have a third closed door meeting maybe by April 27th tonight? I just because we didn't hear from him on Padres.tv does not mean that he's not been quoted by the media tonight. I just don't know.
Let me see. Because he takes a while sometimes.
He can take a while. I was thinking the same thing.
And you know, here, you want to hear from him?
I would love to.
End of the sequences, yes. I thought. Mike, just command issues in the zone for Joe tonight on the long balls. I think at the end of the sequences, yes. I thought, won't speak for him clearly. You guys will talk to him, but I thought the stuff was coming out pretty good, and the sequences were good. Just wasn't able to, with certain guys, finish them. So I think that was the biggest thing. But the stuff is still encouraging.
What can you assess about Joe's season? The stuff seems at times to be really, really good. Typical Joe, but finishing guys has been an issue, and there have been some rough starts.
There has. I think it's just about the consistent execution. I think that's going to be the case with pretty much any pitcher, including Joe. And, listen, I know he's frustrated. Like I say, the stuff's there. The crispness, the pitches have been there recently. The breaking ball's been there. The slider's improved. The fastball's had some life to it. It's just about being able to finish out hitters. And, sometimes you run through a place where, you're over the plate a little bit too much and you pay for it. And Joe's in that mix a little bit. So he'll be fine. Again, like I said, there'd be some concern if it wasn't as crisp or it wasn't as, he didn't feel as good as he does. But, he's just able to got to finish hitters.
What do you kind of made of the way Joe's kind of handled some of these early season struggles and kind of knowing what he does and who he is, and kind of the way he works through things? And I mean, he's kind of tireless in that regard.
Yeah, he's a tireless worker. Again, I can't speak for how he's feeling, but I can only articulate what I see. And I see a guy, Joe Musgrove, care factor is super high. The work ethic's off the charts. The, dedication to this team being great is high. And, he's delivered for this organization quite a bit. And there's a lot of bright moments in the future for Joe. But when he doesn't have as many as he'd like, there's a frustration level. But he's a professional and he handles it with the utmost professionalism. And he's just a real pro. And I know it's, eating at him a little bit, but it only fuels Joe. So, I'm confident he's going to be in a good spot for a long time this season. Mike, just
okay.
Yeah, it was pretty standard, actually. He didn't come to an absurd defense of Joe Musgrove, but I mean, he's always going to have his players' backs. That's pretty clear. I mean, nobody has really fully explained why his velocity is down. He also said something interesting there late, which is, I don't know how he's feeling.
Yep.
Which is interesting. I didn't know there was any issues with any part of how he was, quote unquote, feeling, but he specifically mentioned that. I don't know how he's feeling, but the stuff is good. But guys, he doesn't strike anyone out. Like, I just pulled it up a second ago. What is it? He's got like 27 strikeouts and 35 in the third innings. That's crazy low. I mean, he's over a strikeout per every inning in his career, and now he's like 7 strikeouts per every 9. So that speaks to his lack of velocity and his inability to, make pitches with 2 strikes. He's nibbled. You look at some of his breaking pitches, and I'm watching tonight, and it's just not crisp. Why?
It's
I don't know.
It's not been crisp all year long. Like, you just haven't seen a good Joe start through and through. You know, he's definitely battled. Shout out Jace Tingler.
Yeah.
But like from batter one to the end of his outing, you have not seen just like a classic Joe start. You know, a lot of his pitches are missing. His velocity's down. He's getting through it because he's as a veteran pitcher, and he you know, knows how to pitch. And that's what good pitchers do, is when they don't have their stuff, they still can give you six innings, or 5 and 2/3 gets you in the sixth by just knowing how to pitch. But yeah, it's gonna be a problem if Joe takes a step back this year. I know that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm pretty convinced he will not match his numbers of any previous season as a Padre. It's hard to do that with 7 starts the way. I mean, 6.94 ERA. He basically would have to have a 2 ERA from here on out to have a 3 ERA for the season. And if that happens, then I hope it happens.
Like I said, I would take a 3.5 right now. It's tough.
I know, but to get to a 3.5 means what from here on out? A 2.5, 2.75 from here.
I think I think the most important thing, though, one is they need to still win, right? But say at the end of the year, Joe, you look up, Joe has a 4.09 ERA.
Yeah.
But his last like 6 starts of the season were all like really good.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Yeah.
And that right there would be totally cool. And as long as he's healthy, and if this team is lucky enough to be in the postseason, and you have a hot Joe Musgrove on the stretch, but at the end of the year, his ERA is in the 4s, that's cool. It's fine with me.
I'd probably take that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that scenario where whatever the ERA, what it is, but from like August 15th on, he's like a top 10 pitcher in the National League, if that's a possibility.
You take that. You got to make sure he stays healthy. That's the biggest thing. Stay healthy.
Yeah, and that's concerning too. Robert, thank you, man, for the super chat. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe if you're here. Smash the like button for us. Thank you for the supers. Click the $sign below the chat box. Thank you for the memberships. Click join. He says Bogey overpaid. That's absolutely clear. Yeah. Machado heats up late. Hopefully. I mean, he had 4 days off. And then Cease, Cy Young. Maybe. I mean, we saw Snell last year on a very average team win it. Machado, I kind of forgot where we left off with him, truthfully. It was nice to see him back in the field. I don't think it was some great night at the plate, the way I recall it, because he struck out at least twice. He was 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. But he was back in the field, which is encouraging. Kevin Acey telling us today he didn't suspect he'd be back in the field tomorrow. They'll try to figure out the health of his elbow. But it is encouraging to have Manny back in the field. And the Bogey thing is just as perplexing as anything, because he's ineffective through 29 games. That's what he is.
I mean, let's be real. 731 OPS is not good enough for Manny Machado.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. And that's, I mean, shoot, what was it? 14 games and 590.
Yeah,
he's,
it's not good enough. It's just not. Tatis, what's he? I mean, he's hitting 252 right now with a 798 OPS. Not good enough. It's not. And then we all know Bogarts. He's hitting 219 with a 586 OPS. Horrible. Those three guys right there. You can talk all you want about everybody else. Cronenworth, Kim, Profar. That's great. Those 3 guys, if they're not performing, and they're going to perform like this year, this team has 0, and I mean 0 chance of making it anywhere near the postseason. 0.
Probably true. HBBBVPPPPPJJJJJ. Thank you. Aaron, revenge for Austin. Joe, stop going to Saquon. I don't think this has to do with any sponsorships.
No.
And I do remember that game. Wasn't there a 1-0 game where Austin got Aaron in the regular season a couple of years ago? He was the only
in the postseason
RBI.
Right?
Was that in the postseason?
Wasn't that?
There was a 1-0 final. And it's like the only, wasn't there a 1-0 game that Austin Nola had the RBI single and the only run of the game against Aaron Nola?
Maybe.
Or maybe there was a moment. Was it game 2 of the National League Championship Series 2 years ago? He did something?
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember that. Oh, bless you.
I think he did something in the NLCS a couple years ago. He must
have. He started all those games.
It was game 2. I know that.
Right. We were there.
Because Zach Wheeler pitched like the best game I've ever seen pitched in a postseason live in game 1.
Right.
And
That's right.
then Nola game 2, and that was kind of a crazy game.
It was a crazy game. They went behind 4 or 5-0, the Padres, and then came back and won somehow.
Yeah. That guy named Juan Soto had a big hit that game.
Juan Soto? Nobody needs Juan Soto.
No. He
Guy's
sucks.
no value.
He sucks. What's he doing right
What
now?
is he? What's he hitting right this second? Just
All right,
Google. Just Google his stats.
All right,
Do you want to
here we go.
guess?
I know it's.
I have no clue.
All right. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Juan Soto this year
Yep.
sitting 324, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, and a 1,025 OPS.
But it was his fault.
That Vasquez trade, for King, and they're great.
Oh, we got Vasquez and Burrito.
And King and Higashioka.
And Higashioka.
Yeah.
And King hasn't really, if we're going to be honest, King's
no players in the
very
Juan
average.
Soto trade have performed for the Padres like consistently yet. King's had a nice couple
Right.
moments that start in Milwaukee.
His
but-
start in Milwaukee was ridiculous, but he's also had some
Yeah.
bad starts.
Yep.
Enzo, thank you, man. He says this team looks lost at the plate at times. They watch fastballs and hangers go down the middle and then swing at pitches outside of the zone. I think that might be more of a credit to Aaron Nola today, because again, yesterday they didn't. Yesterday they were fine against bad pitching.
Right.
In Colorado in general, I don't think they were great offensively, but they also didn't have Manny Machado. They didn't homer in the first 3 games of the series. I know they homered yesterday a couple of times in scoring those 9 runs, but again, they are who they are on offense. And honestly, I don't think their offense has been that bad. I could easily have told you that this offense would be worse than they've been. Easy.
No, the offense hasn't been that bad, but also you're gonna get stretches like this. If your stars aren't performing, you're gonna get stretches where they just look really bad offensively because they're paper thin. And Paulie had a nice moment tonight, but it was in a 8-run game in the 7th or 8th inning.
Yep.
You know?
They took out, and I don't fault them for this. There's nobody in the ballpark in the 8th and 9th inning. Also, it was raining and it was 9-1. But they took out, who'd they take out? Hassan Kim left this game. Fernando Tatis Jr. left this game in the 7th inning. I get it. It's live to fight the next battle.
I thought they don't quit though, John.
But that's not quitting. That's just being smart. If let's say Fernando Tatis Jr. bats in a 9-1 game and gets hit on the hand.
I know.
Or whatever. Does something to a hammy. It's probably smart. People may not love it, but when you play 162 times and you're in the middle of a 13-game stretch without an off day,
I'm just going back to the game versus the Giants on that Saturday where they were down a bunch of runs and they came back to and then Shildt after the game with Shildt was like, we never had any quit in that dugout from the second we were down by a bunch of runs, even though he took out Tatis. So
they were down 8-0 to the Cubs too, but they rallied, I don't know, in the 5th or 6th inning.
That was early. That was the 5th inning. It wasn't the I bet you if they're down,
the game was over. Let's be honest.
It was over. It was done.
You're down 9-1, and I get it. They've had an 8-run comeback this year. It wasn't happening against Aaron Nola, not on a cold night in the rain, where the only balls were flying off Phillies bats, not off Padres bats here tonight. There was a ball that somebody scorched. Was it Paulie earlier in the game with 2 on to right center, and it just died. And then everything Philadelphia hits is just absolutely scorched. No doubters.
I like your tweet. It was like the Marine layer doesn't affect the Phillies hitters.
It only impacts the Padres. It's incredible.
It only impacts the Padres hitters.
It's incredible. I still look at this somehow. It doesn't make sense to me. On base plus slugging for the Padres is still 8th in baseball. It seems a little high based on what's played out. But again, they've had big innings. They've had some high scoring games, including yesterday. They're 8th in OPS. Where are they in? What's interesting here, they're on base. They're 5th in baseball in on-base percentage.
Is that good?
Which, is, again, somewhat surprising to me. It's not their offense that necessarily needs to pick them up. It's this very erratic rotation of Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish being not healthy, Michael King being up and down, Matt Waldron.
It's crazy to think
that's what you got.
And it's crazy to think that this offense is towards
Yeah, top
You know,
half, certainly
top half
third.
of baseball when I've been talking about all night how your top 3 stars have all underperformed this year so far.
I know. It's been all like weighty and like eggy
And Proey
and
and
merrily
Yeah.
and campy. Kind
And
of.
Kimmy kind of.
Okay, yeah, kind of. JD's third, thank you, man. He says, "Isn't it refreshing to see how serious organizations are run?" Castellanos bats seventh because his average is 180. AJ Tingler Preller would never. Divas and ego. That's an interesting conversation. I would say this, though. The difference between Castellanos batting seventh and, let's say, Bogarts leading off for the Padres is what Jim said earlier. The Phillies just have a better lineup. So because they have a better lineup, it provides you with all types of flexibility and options that the Padres lineup doesn't necessarily afford them. I mean, what do you want to do? Get cute and put Merill and Wade as 1 and 2 and then have
No.
like Bogarts bat eighth?
No.
So that's the thing. I mean, I agree with what he's saying there. I mean, the Phillies have figured this out. Remember, the Phillies have not been in the postseason. I mean, they went to the World Series through the Phillies or through the Padres in 2022. Previously, they hadn't been to a World Series since 2009. They had some lean years in there. It's not like they've been a serious run organization for the last 15 years. They haven't. They figured it out and they've spent over the last handful of years. But yeah, I mean, we said it in 2022, Jim, when these two teams met in the postseason. I mean, they're sluggers. I mean, they're built to win with offense. And now you couple that with their spending prowess, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, the effectiveness of Ranger Suarez. Their bullpen's trash, or hasn't been effective. But their starting pitching and their hitting has completely carried the day.
Yeah. The Phillies, I mean, you have Kyle Schwarber hitting under 200, hitting leadoff for you, but he gets on base, and at any moment, guess what? That game is 1-0, like a second, and that's guess what happened tonight? 1-0 in a second.
Yeah. And we've
He'll
seen
hit
that.
He'll hit 45 home runs for you.
He probably will. Yeah.
And his average, who cares? I mean, he hit 197 last year, and I bet you if you talk to any Phillies fan, no one complained about his average whatsoever.
No, you kind of take it because of his power. Yep.
I mean, yeah. 47 home runs last year. No one cares. Hit 187. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Padres haven't had someone hit 47 home runs in how long? I mean, Tatis hit that 40 that 1 year. When's the last Padre to hit 47 home runs?
Caminetti.
It's been a while, right? That's a quarter century. That's a lifetime ago for a lot of people, if they were even alive. We need to thank our title sponsor here on the wrap-up show, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. Mark hasn't taken tonight's loss super well, if we're going to be honest, because we've been texting back and forth with him throughout the course of the game. He is our title sponsor. He's been with us since day one. We can't do it without Mark, just like we can't do it without you, everyone watching live or on replay. I've got a homeowner's life insurance and earthquake insurance policy through Mark, and you should as well. He can save you a lot of time. And then if you ever need to file a claim, he's going to save you money and time. And he's an outstanding insurance agent. You can take that from me because I had to file a claim a couple of years ago, and he took care of everything. And he made the process simple and easy. So click the link in the description down below. Mark's a San Diegan, lifelong Padres fan, whatever it is, auto, home, renter's life, whatever it is, let Mark save you money. You can get free quotes online or by calling Mark Nimitz, the title sponsor of the wrap-up show.
Yep. If you have any insurance needs, hit up our buddy Mark, mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to him, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
I honestly don't feel, there's a couple supers that have rolled in here, I don't think it's a sky falling night. It's more you couple the 2-2 series against the Rockies and you start a 6-game homestand against good teams on the wrong foot, so to speak, and reality starts to set in.
Yep. It's
not, oh, you're Houston and you've dug yourself a 12-game hole to get back to 500 or whatever it is, or, oh, you're the White Sox and you're 4-23. That's not what this is. You're a day away from being over 500 if you win. You know what I mean? So it's not encouraging this week. 4 games in Colorado left tons to be desired. And tonight, you just got outclassed by better starting pitching and offense. But I mean, I just think reality is setting in a little bit, but I don't think this is like the end all be all what we've seen the last 2 days. I honestly don't. Just like I didn't think it was the end all be all that they came back from 8-0 down against the Chicago Cubs.
What did we learn last year, John? Amongst a lot of things that we learned last year, is it always can get worse.
It always can. I mean, it got really bad last year.
You know, it always can get worse. So this is not even close to a rock bottom moment for this team.
No, I don't think so. If this is rock bottom, they'll actually probably be good. If we look back on this as the Colorado night and this night against Nola, and then all of a sudden they got going. Okay.
Dude, if you told me that the last 2 days were rock bottom for this team, then I would feel very confident. I'd be like, really? That's it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Great. But like you said, you make a good point, the reality might be setting in here kind of soon. And things always could change. They could get hot in August or September or whatever and make a run and get in. But like, to think those things are going to happen potentially with how this team is going to potentially play the next month or so, it gets further and further from your mind that like, oh, that could happen. Just it will be a situation by a couple of months from now. We'll say, well, they are who they are. Like they are who they are. What do you expect? Even though the expectation is you gotta make the postseason, but yeah, it's unfortunate because maybe they're just. I said today, like they're not a bad team. They're not a good team. They're kind of just they're okay or whatever right now.
So far, yeah, that I agree. I do. And so thank you for the super. He says, what month in the season do you look at as a measuring point for when you can say they're going to be okay or not? When do we start to panic? I mean, I said today on John and Jim, like the adage used to be like Memorial Day, July 4th, and Labor Day as measuring sticks. It's not now. I promise you that. It's not panic time. It's not, are they going to be okay or not time at 14 and 15. What it is what it is. 29 games is over 1/6 of the season, which means less than 5/6 remains. They have 133 games remaining. They have 133 games remaining. Nothing's been determined one way or the other, and that we don't know if it's time to panic or not. Based on the results that have played out on the field, it's not time to panic. Now, there were good indicators earlier. Here are some of the bad indicators right now. Their health. Is Joe Musgrove healthy? He has to be. He has to make 30-plus starts. Is Yu Darvish healthy? He will need to be. He needs to make 28 starts plus. Those are the things that are really – that's when I would panic. If someone told me Joe Musgrove isn't healthy and or Yu Darvish will not be healthy this year, I'd be more prone to panic. I'm not panicking based on their record. I would panic based on their health if that becomes a factor.
Yeah, the health is everything. Just – if you're healthy, then you take that. But I'm just looking right here. Okay, so last year, John, after the deadline, I remember they beat Colorado. They were 54 and 55 on August 2nd. And they went and they, I don't know how many games out they were, but I'm trying to find that. I'm just thinking of super chat that was sent in about what point can you say that they're cooked or not or whatever. August for them is going to mean everything, in my opinion. And it's the start of August that is everything. And so you have to get to that point either a couple games out or tied or whatever. Like if you get to that point in August where you're, heaven forbid, like double digits out, that's going to be
well, then the season's over.
Correct. And you're probably not making a trade at the deadline for anybody. You're probably trading away pieces. But it's everything to get to the deadline, in it, and be, I would say, above 500 by a couple games going into August. Because that beginning stretch of August could determine, and I think it will determine, the fate of this season by having 15 straight games versus the Rockies and the Pirates and the Marlins. I think it's the Marlins they play.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
agree with what you're saying, which is also a reason for me not to panic, because I think ultimately one way or another we'll get to August 1st and they'll either be like 5 games out of a playoff spot or like even. I don't think there'll be 10 games out of a playoff spot.
Something would have to go wrong.
Now, again, I'm going to do something we haven't done one time this year, but since we're having the conversation, here's the good news. They're a game and a half out today from a playoff spot. Here's the bad news. There are 7 other teams within one game of them: Washington, Arizona, St. Louis, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, and the New York Mets, who are actually a game better than them. So the good news is you are fine. The bad news is everyone is fine other than the Rockies and the Marlins. So there's 15 teams in the National League, right? 6 are going to make the postseason. 2 have been eliminated. You've got 13 teams fighting for 6 spots. We know Atlanta. We know LA, right? We know someone's going to win the Central. So yeah, there's not 6 spots for the Padres. They're going to be fighting for 1 or 2 of them. They're going to be fighting for either the second wild card or the third wild card, right? Do we all agree with that? Does anyone think the Padres are going to win the division? Dodgers have won 5 straight. Are you watching a team that's going to win this division? No.
I've always thought this team would be competing for the final wild card spot this year.
Right. So that's what it is. That's what it is. It'll be either the second wild card, which might be overly optimistic, or it'll be the third wild card where there are 5 capable teams, including the Padres, of reaching that goal. They're one of them, along with Arizona and Cincinnati and San Francisco and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, man, every game is so freaking important, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we get to September, and hopefully we get to September with a relatively healthy roster and them playing decent enough baseball to where they're in it. Unlike last year when we got to September and this shit was over.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be looking back at every loss they have in September as being like, okay, this one hurts a lot. If only they won that game where they're up 5 runs in the 8th inning in Colorado. If only they won that game in San Francisco when Kim tagged out Soler at second and the ball just magically flew into center field. You know, like they could have won opening day in Korea versus the Dodgers if the ball doesn't, go right through Jake's glove.
Definitely possible. Yep.
And, so now on the flip side, it's like, well, they're in that position because they had a huge comeback versus the Cubs. They had a couple comebacks versus the Dodgers because they had a couple comeback versus the Brewers. Like those things are true too, but it hurts even more and it just impacts the team more when you have wins like almost seemingly in your pocket and they just disappear out of thin air.
Yep. Yeah. And they've had some, they have had some crushing losses. They've also had some exhilarating wins, like we've talked about. But man, they really have had those crushing losses. Clearly, Mike Shildt appeals to the clubhouse based on what he says to the media. If I was a member of the team, I'd be prone to hearing what he's saying. I will say this, that messaging is only going to work if you can hang around.
100%.
It's going to be so disingenuous if they fall 8-9 under. Like, I got a bunch of gamers that I'm going to go to battle with each and every night, and I would take them over any other team in baseball. Like, but you're 9 games under 500, sir. This is a Wendy's. Like, there's 20 teams with better records than you. I mean, that's great that you have gamers. Someone put it maybe in on our text line or on the wrap-up show, or I saw it somewhere recently. Like, gamers, or reply to one of your tweets. Gamers translation is like guys that are scrappy, but aren't as talented. I mean, gamers means like underdogs. Like, do you want to have gamer? That's not really my definition of the Padres. They've got a huge payroll still. They're still paying 5, 6, 7 guys serious money. So I don't know. Do I define the Padres as gamers that are scrappy? I guess in theory that's a good way to describe them, but I don't even know if that's who they are.
You mentioned they're winners, John. They're winners and they're gamers.
They're winners. Unfortunately, they're a game under 500, so they're actually
losers,
not winners. Yeah. Steve, thank you. He says, "You is too old. Too many boo-boos." You mean ouchies?
No, I think Steve has it right. Too many boo-boos. Like, an ouchie is something that just occurs. Boo-boos, I think, are things that have already happened.
No, I thought that was an owie.
Oh.
By the way, Musgrove got booed tonight. Or the team did after the third and fourth home runs.
I don't think Musgrove got booed. I think the team got booed.
Yeah. But he was on the mound. The Phillies had hit, consecutive home runs?
Hit
And it
4,
was
back to back.
7-1, and there were real boos raining down, which is fine. Remember a week ago, Cameron Maben said San Diego doesn't have the same fan base as New York because they don't boo. And now they do boo. Does that then elevate the fan base?
In my opinion, yes.
That they booed tonight?
Yeah. Again, the whole Shildt thing, it's great if you win. It's cringy if you lose. Was anybody like, man, I love Andy Green when he had that passionate speech about the Dodgers?
Right.
Or was it, get this guy out of town, they're not winning, we're done with Andy Green? That's what it was. That's what's going to be. It happened with Bob Melvin this past year. Bob Melvin took this team to the NLCS, and then no one could stand him because the team wasn't winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But, I mean, if this team finishes 82-80 again this year, John, or worse, or they don't make the postseason, is anybody going to be sitting there saying they love Mike Shildt? Maybe a couple.
Not many.
But it's a bottom line business. And when you win, that's what people care about. And then this stuff becomes more it sticks more. Because right now it just feels like some kind of eyewash. Like, hey, Shildt, bro, we were watching these games. We know what you're doing here. But you're under 500.
Yeah, I don't know why everything has to be spun. Like, he's not a public relations specialist. He's a manager. Sure, he manages one of the 30 teams. He's not managing the other 29 teams. I'm coming to the defense of my team too, but not above all else. Like, you got to sometimes be realistic. He kind of was today. The audio you played on the wrap-up show is like, yeah, Joe has struggled or whatever he said. He actually said something that was quasi-true. That was I don't even remember what it was.
You're right. I was thinking that when I was listening.
He said it. He's like, yeah, struggle. I'm like, wait, what?
That's the first time this year where he kind of didn't just unequivocally just say, like, he battles his ass off. He's great, blah, blah, blah. Like, he kind of just told it how it is, which there's a time to go all in. And then there's times where it's like, you're not fooling anybody. And tonight, I think, was one of those times. I know that the question from Dennis, even the other day, kind of triggered him.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's also had to be pissed about that loss, right?
Definitely.
And maybe he'll realize, like, maybe this team isn't it. I don't know. Whatever it is, just win, and everyone thinks fine. But if you lose, the act is going to just become, the Shildt-isms are they're going to get tired. They just are, unless you win. And that's just what it is.
All right. Let's pick each other up by playing some Padres pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy.
Let's do it.
So scan the QR code on the screen or click the link down below or go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app and let's play some pick'ems for tomorrow. If you use promo code PADSWRAP, PADSWRAP, you'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Here's some good news too, Padres fans. Dylan Cease will be pitching tomorrow for San Diego, so hopefully he'll do a lot to keep the Padres in the game against Ranger Suarez. What do you think here? I mean, some big numbers, Jim. 7.5 strikeouts is a huge number.
And they don't give you a lower option there, huh?
No, they don't. A 17.5 outs. Can he go 6 tomorrow? They could really use that.
I'm gonna say he's gonna give you 6 innings tomorrow.
I agree. Now that's only a 0.85 times, but we'll take that. Do we have any feelings on Ranger Suarez?
Higher than 4.5 strikeouts.
Higher than 4.5 strikeouts, I don't hate. I'm with you.
How about higher than? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's good.
Who's going to homer for San Diego? I feel like the Padres are kind of
nobody.
One, but
nobody.
Sander 5.25.
No,
it's not going to happen. But I'm putting it in. So if that happens, $10 pays basically 300.
Well, there's the Bogarts home
all
run
you really need. The only thing you need is a Bogarts home run. You get a Bogarts home run, you're winning $300.
Yeah, big time, big time money.
Flex that, which means get 2 out of 3 right. You can still win 147.50. So this is how easy and look at that. It took us 2 seconds to put it together and pick them. And you can play as many as 5 right, at one time, and you can win 100 times your money in a single night. $10 pays 1,000, okay, in that scenario. And if you use promo code PODSWRAP, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100.
Yeah, the Underdog Fantasy. Guys, go there right now. QR code above my head. Scan it. It will take you right to the Underdog Fantasy app in the App Store. Download the app. Okay. Use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Your first $100 will be matched. You don't have to deposit $100 right away. You can just do 50. And guess what? You get 50 free dollars. So your first $100 will be matched. It gives you options like 50, 100, or 200 deposit, and you can get free money to win real money. We're giving you that. And you can, I mean, as John just put it there on the screen, those things could happen tomorrow, maybe. But
I just added in Castellanos. If Castellanos hits a home run, you go 4 for 4 there. $10 pays 1,000. That's at 100 to 1. So Castellanos and Bogarts homering in the same game, you can win 100 times your money.
Yeah,
and if you flex, you get 3 out of 4 right, you still win 324 on a $10 bet. I'm telling you guys, if you haven't been playing, use promo code PODSWRAP.
Yeah, it's fun.
Scan that QR code.
You can win big money by only betting little money, as we say here. You don't have to break the bank. So it's fun. It's addicting to watch these games and and just go download the Underdog Fantasy.
Hold on.
Disclaimer. If you're concerned about your gambling play, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Right.
I don't mean it that way.
You like this?
Yeah.
You know, we should mention, I'm glad you kind of mentioned what Shildt said yesterday. We haven't really harped on it. We didn't do a wrap-up show yesterday. Now we had radio, and we talked about it a lot over the last 24 hours. But if you haven't heard it, if you're here, you probably have. I mean, he made an impassioned defense of Wandy Peralta. Nobody has stuck up for Wandy Peralta like this in his life. And that may include his family, right? I mean, that was a really strong defense of Wandy Peralta, which I do respect. Peralta has pitched very effectively for the Padres. Heading into yesterday, had a 1.5 or a 1.45 ERA, but he just couldn't get out of the jam that Matsui created, and then he created his own jam and couldn't get out of it. He faced 5 batters. Where he really lost it is when Dennis Lin asked him why he faced 5 batters when he clearly could have faced less, right? 3 would have been the minimum in that spot. And then someone else followed up with like something, and he's like, "Here's what I'm going to take away from leaving Coors Field." And that's
we're a bunch of gamers. You know,
gamers.
I think people, and this is why Twitter sucks so much, but his explanation about Wandy Peralta, I didn't have any problem with. I actually agreed with him, and said it as much yesterday as, like, I don't know what else you would want him to do there, because it's either Stephen Kolek, all right, or you keep in Wandy Peralta, who has been great for you all year so far, and you're not going to Swarry with 5 outs. You're just not. So I don't have a problem at all with him sticking with Wandy there. It's the him declaring that this team is good and a bunch of winners, and kind of having to like reinforce that to everybody, and kind of like, you know, hey, we're 500, but no, we're winners, we're gamers. And I'm just like, Mike, my guy, like, I don't know about that, dude. It just feels kind of like a little bit of, you're kind of just doing it to do it. I don't know what it's doing or how it's helping anybody. Like,
right.
Players in
it's
that
like
clubhouse
April
are like,
25th, and you split with the Rockies, who came into the series 5-17. I said yesterday, it's like, it's one thing to say that following Game 5 of the NLDS.
Right. You're not 20-5.
You're 14-14 with a bad split in Colorado. I mean, it's not the worst series in Padres history, but it's certainly not the best.
No, and that's where my like kind of cringe, roll my eyes at what he said yesterday comes from. Not anything to do with the Wandy Peralta decision or anything, because I actually thought his explanation was good. It was a good explanation. You know, He's one of the best pitchers in the league as far as ground ball rates go. You trust him in that situation for a ground ball, and it didn't happen. So be it. Shit happens. But like the constant nobody can do anything wrong mentality from Shildt. We got a little less of that tonight when he's talking about Musgrove, but it's just like a guy doesn't put his foot on the bag. It's not his fault. The guy doesn't pop up slide at second, automatic out every single time. Continue to do it. Screw it.
I would do it 10 out of 10 times.
You know, like you split with the worst team in the National League. Hey, but they're a bunch of winners. We're great. Like, I don't know, dude. It's not gonna. It's not going to go over well if this team doesn't win. That's my thing is like you continue to go down this path of constant kind of like trying to polish a turd shit pile. Eventually, people are going to get you're going to get over it, and they're not going to see through it. They're going to see right. I mean, they are going to see through it.
They are going to see through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is insult to injury. I saw this on social media today. JD's third thank you. That's what's in. Right? Can't lose a C start. I mean, obviously that's the Phillies Padres 2022 NLCS curse. if you believe in such things.
I was thinking to myself, like, if the Padres win tonight, they better use a "that's what's in" their
that would have been good.
Like
that would have been good.
You know, that's
maybe if they win tomorrow.
I got one for you. Whoever does the Padres social media account, if the Padres win this series.
Troll the best Philly like you did the Dodgers last year.
No. If they win the series. You can't do it when you win one game and you lose the series. But if they win on Sunday, say they win tomorrow night, they win Sunday. The final game score tweet with the logo or the graphic and everything, that's what's win. And then the W is capitalized.
If they use that, you need to get credit.
That's what's win.
I do like that
because that's
what if they do that? What if they win Sunday but lose the series and do that tweet?
No, you can't. You can only do it if you can only do it if you win the series.
Win anything.
No. It only does. If you lose tomorrow, it's all bets are off. You can't use it.
You can only do it now in Philadelphia if you win.
You have to win on Sunday, and if you win on Sunday, and you win the series, the headline has to be like that's what's win.
Now, can you do it tomorrow if you even up the series at a game apiece?
No, because you could still lose the series and it looks even worse.
By the way, Ranger Suarez season-long ERA 1.36.
Yeah, he's really good.
Zach Wheeler's got a 1.93. Now we're not seeing him, right? No, right. Who do they have in Game 3?
A guy making a season debut.
Some veteran.
A veteran. You'll know the name. It's
you will all know the name.
It's Taijuan Walker.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's why Saturday's kind of pivotal. Suarez has been great, but so has Dylan Cease. We need Dylan Cease. This is where you need like 7 innings, 1 run, like that vintage, like shutting down a good lineup, needing a stopper. You've lost a couple in a row. You do that, and then you're facing a guy making his season debut. Maybe you do give yourself a pretty good chance on Sunday, and it looks a lot different come Monday. If Dylan Cease gives you what he's given you, which is a 1.82 ERA. Now, Suarez has been the same guy. He's got a 1.36, but I'm trusting Cease at home tomorrow night. In what feels, again, I mean, he's here to be a stopper. He's here to be an ace. He's here to beat the Phillies, who have a really good lineup. He's here to beat good teams. So I'm circling this. Like, that's magnified for me. Dylan Cease in a big spot against a good team and good pitcher that's hot. You will show me a lot if you shut the Phillies down tomorrow and win that game.
And he's their ace. So go out there and have an ace performance. It's win day tomorrow for the Padres, even though it's also win day for the Phillies because one of their best pitchers is on the mound as well.
That's right.
So, hey, do you want to hear more from Shildt?
Yeah.
All right. His thoughts on Manny Machado's return, and then like also reasons why they took out Toddy and Kimmy.
Love it.
Hold on.
Seems like a long time ago, but that play in the first inning to end the first inning by Manny, how good was it to see that back?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it's the highlight of my note. That and Graham Pauley. Yeah, I mean, just to go out and I told Ruben, I said, probably not Schwarber. I wish he would have been the first ball it hit to him. To start the game, I was like, there's a pretty good chance Turner's going to hit a ground ball to Manny. And just like, boom, in the back end, it's like, all right. And, I turned to Victor, and he's like, what a guy. Like, what? It's just so easy. And just
what a guy.
great to see him out there. Wish we had better circumstances to celebrate.
Greatest
but
backhand
really
I've
good to
ever
see,
seen.
Big man out in the hot corner.
I'm wondering with Manny, and this might be a better question for Manny, but is it almost
Big
better for him
man.
to get as many chances as he had tonight, just to kind of to be throwing consistently? Because he talked a lot about the ups and the downs and the kind of getting hot and then getting cold. To have as many chances as he did in his first game back, is that almost an easier way to get back into it?
I think it's good, man. You're out there. Let's break the ice a little bit. And he was able to get, the backhand, and man, it's so fun to watch him throw. It's like looked good. So that was encouraging
Come
too.
on.
And he came in on the ball as well. So being able to get multiple plays with different looks is a good thing for the first time out.
Tari and Kimi, they came out early. Are they fine?
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. I mean, listen, we never want to take them out of a game, but the fact of the matter, that's the first time Kimmy's been off his feet all year. Buggy, good teammate, slid over to short. Toddy's been grinding and playing pretty much every day. Got him out earlier in the game when we were at a lead, but just an opportunity coming off the road for those guys getting after it and much there on the bases and playing the game the way they play the game, hard and correctly. Just we're always optimistic, but at that point in the game, it just made sense to give them a little bit of a blow.
The game was over.
Yeah, we quit. You're done.
I'm just going to pull up this comment. And I don't agree with it, but I'm just laughing at it. I mean, who knows why?
I mean, it's not. He's
Dude,
not.
the Machado,
You're not wrong.
Did you hear? Because he called him like nice to see big man make some throws. The big man. He called
The
him
big man.
The big man. Like, dude, we're treating his backhand play at third like it should be in the Louvre. Like, that's why he's here, guys. He's the lead defender. That's why. I hope he makes more backhanded plays.
He talked like he was like. Dude, I got to listen to this one more time. I mean, the description.
Play the first part through Machado. Play the first part.
His description of Manny. I mean, you would think this was like
the
greatest plays ever made.
His first child.
The big man.
I know it was a long time, or it seems like a long time ago, but that play in the first inning to end the first inning by Manny, how good was it to see that back?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it's the highlight of my note. That and Graham Pauly. Yeah, I mean, just to go out and I told Ruben, I said, probably not Schwarber. I wish he would have been the first ball it hit to him. To start the game, I was like, there's a pretty good chance Turner's going to hit a ground ball to Manny. And just like, boom, in the back end, it's like, all right. And, I turned to Victor, and he's like, what a guy. Like, what? It's just so easy. And just great to see him out there. Wish we had better circumstances to celebrate it, but it was really good to see the big man out in the hot corner.
I'm wondering with Manny.
Big man out at the hot corner.
Hey, I know you're new here, Mike Shildt. I've seen that play a million times from Manny Machado. Now it is here to Shilt's credit.
Yeah.
It is good to see him out there because we thought it was going to be much later. We thought it was going to be like end of April potentially, and they need him in the field. And it's good that he looked like Manny tonight. It's good that he looked. It's good that he looked like himself in the field. He didn't have any trouble. He didn't have any worry when he got the ball or was thrown across the diamond. That's good. But I mean, dude, it's just. I mean,
that is incredible audio. I'm just thinking.
Plays, my guy.
I was just thinking about this. And again, this doesn't, when Cameron Maben was like, the Yankees have a better fan base because you get death threats. I mean, this stupidity. And it's so stupid because the Padres, they're drawing 40,000 fans per game. But I also am wondering about it's not playing extremely well currently. Maybe it is with the Padres fan base. Maybe his style has so far played well. I'm just trying to think about him managing the Phillies. And then having these post-game comments, or the Yankees
after
or
losses,
the Red Sox, or the Mets
after like losses. Where
we lost 9-1, but man, that ball that Harper dug out at first,
that backhand looked over him. I was like,
I looked over at Victor. I was like, whoa, that's why we got him.
Well, I mean, that throw is big man. So big man's got it. Oof.
Big man.
I also got to make sure I talk about Graham Pauly's night. Oof. I mean, Graham Pauly.
Yeah.
Those at bats he put together tonight, just really solid home run. It's awesome. Mike Shildt, you lost 9-3.
Right.
Like, cool. I'm glad that Graham Pauly had a moment tonight. He needs those moments because he's been struggling a lot. Great.
Right.
You fucking got your ass kicked. All right.
Yeah, and again, if he would have tonight, I would have been more like, listen, we didn't play well. We need to play better tomorrow. What I do take out of is we're going to need Jeremiah Estrada. It was nice to see him pitch effectively, and Graham Pauly hasn't hit, and he did tonight, so he'll be back in at DH. We want to see him keep hitting. Like, that's kind of my takeaway here. And Joe Musgrove is important and a big part of this team, and he didn't pitch as well as he needs to tonight, and he knows that, and we all acknowledge it. We need to move on, and we need to win tomorrow with Dylan Cease on the mound. But I'm not, celebrating the first inning backhand as much as he probably is. But he's a little bit of a different character. He's a little bit of a different guy.
Kevin today with us, he mentioned, he's like, kind of said it without saying anything. But when we asked him, and you asked him about this, and his response about Mike Shildt was like, Shildt knows what he's doing.
Yep.
And, what has been the number one thing coming out of the first day of Padres spring training? The optimism around this team has been through the roof.
Yeah,
we're
not 2023.
The positivity is just through the roof, even though they're under 500. There's people watching. There's certain people that make the decisions are watching Shildt. There's certain players, I'm sure, that are seeing what Shildt says. And
I think it's more that.
And those people have a lot of weight. Those people have a lot of weight.
Yeah, I think it's more playing to the clubhouse. And honestly, this to me doesn't scream the way Manny Machado necessarily wants to be managed, like bending over backwards to appease. I'm not saying that's what's happened all year. I'm not saying it's solely because of Machado, but when you're so glowing of Manny Machado's backhand, I wonder if part of Manny is like, guys,
bro, I do this every day.
I've played a couple thousand games in the big leagues. I mean, I'm pacing to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer. You don't need to gush over this. We lost 9-3. Like what did Manny basically tell Kevin last year? Hey, yeah, it hasn't gone great, but this ain't high school baseball. It's business of performing.
Yeah.
I don't think Manny's gushing about his backhand tonight.
And you lose Manny Machado in that clubhouse, you're done.
You're done. And maybe this is what maybe you do have to acquiesce.
Like coddle a little bit.
You have to coddle.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe that plays to the benefit. I don't know. Guys, before we forget, we do need to thank one of our longtime partners here on the wrap-up show, Aura, ora.organic. If you want to get healthier, then make sure to check them out. They're plant-based nutritional products. Really a great company. Their co-founder, Will, longtime supporter of this channel, huge Padres fan. They have offices right here in San Diego at Liberty Station. They have probiotics, which I take every day for digestion. It's an amazing product. You should be taking it. They have also omega-3 oils. If you're taking a fish oil, take their omega-3 oil. You get the same health benefits, and it's plant-based. They have sleep pills, immunity pills, proteins for after workouts. I mean, literally something for everyone, yourself, your family, your friends. You can go to ora.organic or click the link in the description down below. If you support our channel, please support our partners, including Aura at ora.organic.
Yeah, they have everything you need to live a healthy lifestyle. If you want to get some supplements to obtain that healthy lifestyle, but you don't know where to start, Aura is the place to go. www.ora.organic. Pick up some stuff, and you'll thank us later.
This is a great way to potentially wrap the wrap-up show for a couple of minutes, because this is an interesting talking point from James. Thank you. We didn't really talk about this specifically. He says, Merill sat out again due to cautionary reasons, but was irritated when he wasn't in the lineup. Yeah, I guess he kind of vouched for himself to be in there. I say let the kid play. What do you guys think? What's the thought process here? He's only got a season or two of seasoning. He's young, all understandable, but it's minor, apparently. He says he can play. They say, no, let's take a day. What do you think? Are they being overly cautious, or is this smart? Because 162 is something Jackson Merrill's never even come close to approaching, because that doesn't exist basically for a 20-year-old.
They know what his injury is better than anybody. I am completely fine with it. This is not like Jackson Merrill is telling them that he doesn't want to play. Like this is the Padres telling Jackson Merrill that he's not going to play. And you have to trust the Padres, and completely fine with it. Have no issues whatsoever. I hope he's okay. I hope the little ouchie goes away. And
Amazing.
he's back in the lineup tomorrow. Little ouchie, dude.
That's the line of the year, and there have been 100.
Little ouchie.
Big man at the hot corner was good, but little ouchie is incredible.
Like you said, John, I mean, if he's the manager in Philadelphia and they're losing and they're under 500, I mean, he's getting killed, right?
I mean, imagine Sports Talk Radio.
Oh God, it would be a bloodbath, right? It would just
be amazing. Wait, see, this was the line. So Marty had this in a tweet she sent out that she put on YouTube, and I could find the audio, but Mike Shildt on the return of Manny Machado to the lineup, latest roster moves and precaution with Merill. Here's the quote she put. Like tease it.
Didn't we play it on John and Jim today?
I thought, but I was like, I was reacting to you not letting the waiter.
I know there was so much going on. I get it.
So this is what she put in the quote. Think it was more of an owie. We didn't want it to lead to an ouchie that led into an oh no. I need that audio.
Oh, hold on.
It's in Marty's. I mean, it's on Marty's YouTube channel.
Hold on.
Find it. It's like 4 or 5 tweets back, 5 hours ago. But the quote is, think it was more of an owie. So do we think an owie is worse than an ouchie? You have to find this before we get out of here.
Really eerie, right? I mean, create eternity, his careers, and and we're going to continue to be mindful of just two really generational talents that have been able to have tremendous career. The fact it's early in the year, and just want to make sure with the lower half extremity that he's going to be okay. So he's going to move around today. He feels great. I'm so happy that he's kind of pounding the table to be in there, which is great. I love the fact that it looks like we're getting this behind us, but I want to make sure it's behind us because I don't want to look up and do something that's not smart and prudent and have the guy out that's a big part of our club for any extended period of time. So we'll see what's availability today, but he's coming in and it's trending upward.
That was not it.
I got to find it. It's important to like my life. I feel like.
Hold on. We're not leaving.
I mean, how long could that video be that Marty did with Shildt? What we played was probably only like half of the whole scrum.
Yeah. Let me see here. Okay. I like Marty's caption. Jackson Merrill's ouchie and Padres roster moves. What are we fucking doing here? Are we 10 years old?
Really eerie, right? I mean,
HBVV, no. Thank you for the super, but that's not going to happen. Obviously, ship sailed on that. They had a chance to make a manager years ago. He had to say it.
System, talk about the use. I mean, waiting to move on maternity leave.
On Jackson Merill, was it an owie or an ouchie? And is he available to pinch it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was more of an owie. We didn't want to lead into an ouchie that led into a oh no. It's something that he had treatment on for a couple of days, and yesterday before the game, when he started feeling it in his swing, just was like, nah, it doesn't taste great. Let's get ahead of it, which we feel like we had.
Okay, so
an owie is less than an ouchie.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Marty baited him.
Let him down.
Marty baited him there.
It's amazing.
If Shildt completely said that on his own accord,
it would have been amazing.
It would have topped the little ouchie in the middle of his rant.
It would have.
But Marty baited him, and so I can't really
would it have topped weighty? What's been the most ridiculous lines of the year so far? That we were shocked by. Swarry was surprising.
Swarry was pretty surprising. I didn't think that he was going to pull that one out. Weighty, I did not know Weighty was going to be one.
Little ouchie's clearly number one.
Little ouchie's the clear number one.
Boom check is tough.
Boom check is pretty good. Boom check is up there.
Oh, the worst was when who was he calling by their nicknames for the other team? Like he used like
Oh,
3 nicknames.
Goldie or something.
Yeah, I mean he didn't manage them, but still.
Oh no, it was Nikki for the
Oh,
Giants.
like who's
Who the fuck is
Nicky? We were
Nikki?
looking at the roster.
Right. Like, who's Nikki?
Freaking Nick Ahmed
Nick Ahmed.
got a nickname.
Nikki.
Remember Nicky?
Oh,
I'm gonna have to start a Google document. I'm serious. I'm not gonna be able to keep up with this.
I know.
I can't forget about this.
I mean,
But he basically said we didn't want it. It was probably more of an owie. We didn't want it to become an ouchie, which then becomes an oh no. So the order of owie is less
an
hurt
ouchie.
than ouchie, and oh no is you're on the IL.
I didn't even see that
So
tweet from
good.
Marty.
That is so good. HBVV, thank you. Says, can we get Dave Roberts as manager? He's a San Diegan. No, they had their chance a long time ago, and that's not going to happen. What a night, Jim.
I think it's more.
That's all I have to say.
I didn't want to do an ouchie that led to an oh no.
So good. Like you said, he got
baited.
baited, but it was still.
That was a Marty special. It was a good question by her because she knew what she was doing.
I'm telling you, man, a lot of honestly, like 5 of his best 10 things he has said this year is in reaction to Marty. She's elicited a good amount of reaction this year from Shildt. There have been some others because she's not on the road, obviously. And this past day in Colorado was more Dennis, obviously.
Because nobody cares. I mean, everyone knows Manny Charles is a great player. Like great. That's awesome. You gush about him all you want. But what people are going to remember from that press conference is Shildt talking about an ouchie becoming an owie, becoming an oh no.
True. I mean, yesterday I thought it was about a 5-run blown lead. It was the little ouchie line.
He just pulled that little ouchie out of nowhere. He's like yelling at Dennis. He's like,
that.
yeah, little ouchie.
I thought he would almost, honestly, hear me out real quick and we'll go. It was almost like, Jim, he was mad at the training staff because Merill was probably like, yo, I feel something, but I'm good. And, Shildt, he's probably like, gamer. Great. And the training staff was like, no, he's 20. He's 21. Give him let's see how he deals with it. And then because remember, they were, the last question Kevin asked was, so it's precautionary? He goes, very precautionary.
Very.
As if to say someone is sitting him. It ain't me. And that's what it sounds like to me, that someone's making a decision above his head. Like, yeah, let's give him a day or two because we can't have him hurt, which again is fine. All right. We're back Sunday night. What does Sunday night look like? Does that look like a series win, a series loss? I mean, who the hell knows? But it feels like Dylan Cease's start is important for the Padres on Saturday. I'll go as far as saying that. It just feels important for Dylan Cease. So smash the like button for us. Follow us on X. Subscribe. Thank you for the super thanks. We do appreciate those. We see those rolling in. If you're here on replay, we really do appreciate your support of the channel.
If they lose tomorrow, it's my fault, probably.
Why? What'd you do?
I'm going to the game tomorrow.
Oh, true. Yeah. Tag Jim if they lose, and don't tag him if they win. And if you see him there, say hi.
Yeah, say hi.
Yeah, but you're not going to see him. He's going to be in a suite eating sushi.
But still say hi.
Yeah, exactly. Like he'll be waving like the Queen of England.
Yeah, I'll be like, hello, peasants. No, I wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
I would do that.
All right. Support our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, our title sponsor. If you have an insurance need, click the link in the description down below. Mark can save you money. Aura, if you're looking to get healthier with their plant-based products, ora.organic. Underdog Fantasy, play along with us this weekend by using promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Win 100 times your money in a single night. Use promo code PODSWRAP. You can scan that QR code on screen or click the link in the description down below. For Jim, I'm John. A lengthy edition of the wrap-up show has come to an end. Without a little ouchie.
There's an oh no.